All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the SirLinksALot.co. What are we doing here? Live SEO support
It's a
live stream.
yeah, where we tell you what you need to know about your SEO.
My name is Chris, and this is my very small friend Nick. He's just kind of like my helper here. He's just a little guy, as you can see on the screen.
I make the toys for all the girls and boys.
How you doing today, Nick?
I'm good. I'm trying to get used to this new office setup. So now my computer's over here, and even though that seems like it wouldn't be a big deal, it's, kind of screwing up all my normal
Move your camera to the
interaction with the
left a little
office.
bit.
Yeah, I see it. Come on, a little more.
A little more.
Come on, baby.
Nope, other
Come
way.
on.
There you go, there you go. You're good.
All right, there we go. Now we are good to go. A+.
All right.
How's the new year going? We are just getting back. Right? This is our first episode this year. So happy 2024,
No, I think we had
everybody.
one other one. I think we had one more. But yeah, I think we skipped a week in between, but we did have one other one. But yeah, Happy New
Okay.
Year, just in case this is our first, because I don't really remember either.
I'm not sure really. But yeah, either way.
Let me see here. I don't know if we have any audits. We might actually be caught up on our
That is
audit.
a
Oh no, we're not.
Christmas miracle in and of
We're
itself.
not. Never
Yeah.
mind.
All right.
All right, I guess we can go ahead and just start with an audit, and then yeah, you guys, if you're watching live, you know what to do. Go ahead and just drop your questions in the chat, and we will get to you
in there.
as soon as we can. All right, Nick, here you go. I'm gonna go ahead and pass it to you. Bear with us 1 second, ladies and gents. We'll get everything set up, and then yeah, just 1 second. Ahrefs going slow today. Let's go, Ahrefs. Come on. Why are we paying you the big bucks?
Big bucks.
Okay. Let's see.
Okay. All right.
So I'll get a picture on the screen, and then we'll talk a little bit about the site, then we'll get into the audit for you guys. All right, so let's see what he said first. Let me make sure I don't have their name in it. Okay. Hey, Chris. Whoops. I think this person asked this question in another stream, but we did not audit before, so I don't know if they just asked the question twice or what. But anyway, it says, hey Chris, what are the don'ts for affiliate marketing websites to get more traffic? We have a blogging website about golf. We are doing things fine. Maybe there is something we are missing. We've got your managed link building plan. Things are starting to roll a little. Yeah, and as you can see by the graph, things look good. I mean, at least for now, right? I don't know how long they've been trying to do stuff, but it looks like in the past 1, 2, 3 months, things have really started to take off, which is cool. We can't take all the credit for that in our managed link building service, but I'll take a little bit of credit for it. We will take a little bit. Yeah, I want to see how long they've been in our MLB plan so far, and I can talk a little bit about what we're doing for them backlinks wise. Let's see. So it looks like they've been with us since the beginning of November.
Okay. All right.
But they only placed one backlink order. So they might have, it looks like they just did 1 month of MLB with us for so far. Not really sure why they
Looks
stopped.
like that's all they needed.
Yeah, maybe we delivered their links and then they just shot up and said, all right, that's good
would
enough,
advise
boys.
if you get a uptick in rankings while in MLB. Try to keep that going, as it is, backlinking is a campaign. It's not really like something you set and forget. You're actively doing it every month.
I always joke around with the MLB team, things like, basically clients will quit because no results. They'll quit because the results are too good. They'll quit for basically like any kind of reason, right? You don't,
Yeah.
you don't really know.
Oh, well, sales are up. I think I'll just pocket these profits next month.
Yeah, things are looking good now, so we're just gonna not invest anymore on the stuff that's working, and yeah. Anyway,
Yeah.
you never know. They might have just had to take a month or two because of their budgeting or
Yeah.
whatever. We'll see if they'll be back or not. But um, I guess
One thing.
huh?
Okay, sorry.
I was gonna say we can go
I
ahead
was
and
just gonna jump
analyze
into it.
their off page real quick
Off page?
if
Okay.
you wanted to.
Yeah, sure.
We'll just do a real quick one. Looks like a lot of URL anchors.
Yeah, I'm guessing it's just spam, isn't it? Let's see. Yeah. Bunch of bookmark sites,
Yeah,
stuff like
when
that.
you put a low bar, looks like they've got a bunch of branded. Discover more. Visit this site URL.
Yeah.
It looks
Lucky
pretty
is,
natural for the most part. Just not much link building
yeah.
there.
Yeah, and I mean, if you're gonna have these spammy directory or bookmarking sites going, at least there's no exact match anchors to inner pages, etc. So typically, a bunch of this stuff will get ignored. Anything that doesn't will still work for you. So I'd say anchors look all right.
Yeah, so, I still got the thing on the screen. There you go. Hopefully you can see better now, guys. But yeah, it looks like basically, even though they have 138 referring domains, pretty much all of that was kind of just like low quality spam type stuff. And it looks like we came in and basically built some links and it just gave them kind of what they needed to just kind of take off, right?
Yeah.
And we didn't even really build that many because they came in with a pretty low budget, $500 a month. So probably built them between, I closed off the screen, but it was it was four or less links, I'm pretty sure. So not that many.
That's pretty good. So, on page is probably looking all right.
And yeah,
Y'all are doing something right over there, right?
yeah. And the off page actually looks pretty clean too. Even if we said there's a lot of spam, but it's probably all this like kind of like natural spam, right? And when you take that away and just look at kind of links that they've probably built or what's going on, things look pretty clean. No like crazy anchor text or anything. Just looks like they were just kind of missing link building, right? All right, I guess we can go ahead and take a look at the site itself.
Yeah, so just as soon as I jumped on here, the one thing that hit me like a ton of bricks is no footer, which
No
I'm
footer,
very
eh?
anti no footer.
Interesting. Is
That
that
is
just
a great opportunity for you to get some interlinking going to your entire website,
even though it's not
page to
contextual,
page.
it is a thing.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
is
no footer. What is that?
no footer,
Wonder if it's
zero footer.
wonder if it's like a problem that like an error on their site or something and it's just not showing up right now.
Mm.
But yeah, definitely recommend getting a footer, right? You get a bunch of your important stuff down there. Get a bunch of like your eat kind of stuff down there. So if you got a quality rater that pops on your site, they can find it real easy. Stuff like that. I'm just looking at one of the blog pages right now. Okay. First one I looked at, it's kind of like a schedule.
Yeah, I saw that one too. Overall, not bad though. Now that I'm on the blog, you don't have to do this, but another thing that promotes crawlability that I personally like, and then you can kind of inject other things in there. Maybe if you've got somewhere to make some ad revenue, etc., would be a sidebar coming down.
Hey Nick, by the way,
where's
your mic real quick?
Right here. Is it off a little bit?
Move it up by your.
Yeah, it fell.
Like we'll move it up like this, like on your.
I can't see you.
Just like on your collar or whatever.
Yeah. Check. Microphone check.
There we go.
Better?
Yeah. And guys, let us know if Nick or me is too loud or too quiet, because Nick's got a new microphone set up, so things might be a little bit off until we get the volume and everything figured out. So yeah, just let us know if something sounds weird. Yeah, I'm not 100% sure about these articles that I'm seeing so far. Looks like images, and it looks like they did make these images, which is good. I mean, actually, this article I'm looking at now looks pretty decent.
No, yeah, they look, I mean, like I kept looking for stock images and stuff, but everything looks pretty solid. They even have
Yeah.
watermark on a bunch of these.
Yeah, I like that. They've got tables of contents. They use tables sometimes. They do have some interlinking going on, but not like an insane amount, but also not a really tiny amount either.
Yeah.
Overall, just for the quick glance, things are looking pretty decent actually. I like the images, really.
Author that goes to author pages, and even though they don't have any socials or anything like that, at least it's a good start. So that might be something you could do is, add socials, etc., crawlability to, let's say, like Linda here for this article, or an
Yeah.
image even, AI image,
Yeah, it'd be
if
good if
she's
you
not
kind
real.
of gave some, it's basically some more information than the author's just like first name. Like give his last name, give like links to like some of his social profiles and stuff. And yeah, this is like EAT stuff, EEAT. I don't think it's actually baked into the algorithm quite yet, but they're basically training the algorithm to do it with human quality raters right now. And the quality raters do look at this shit. So yeah, it's not like basically if a quality rater lands on your site, they could basically deduct you for it, but I don't think the algorithm really does it right now. But then again, it might actually be doing part of it, and I'm not really sure. We just don't know how much is baked into the algo or not yet. But anyway, it's good for future-proofing your kind of stuff anyway, right? But that being said, just looking at what there is here about the author right now, they would, just from what I've seen quality raters talk about, they would like deduct points for this, but it's also not like, it's like not just this one thing is going to like penalize you or something, right? It's like they look at everything in total, and you would be like kind of deducted a little bit for this because there's no like links to any of his stuff and just like one name and just not much about him or whatever. But it's not the end of the world either. But it's a good thing to do if you can. Anything else you're finding or that you want to say, Nick?
I'm looking at the shop right now, which looks all right too.
What's cool about this,
But again, go ahead.
well, how do
All right,
can you
well,
actually buy this
even
stuff?
even with the shop, I'm like, yeah, exactly. It looks like something doesn't quite look like.
There's no buy button.
Oh, all right, so there's no buy button. So
But they
maybe
have
this is just kind of something they're working on.
yeah, they do have a cart. What's cool is that if you actually do turn this into a shop and you actually, actually sell stuff on your website or whatever, you're gonna have like really good eat because, well, if you do everything properly, because you're an actual like brand like selling stuff rather than just like some random like affiliate kind of thing, right? But yeah, so all your like blogs go definitely looking pretty good. Get a footer going, get more stuff about like your authors or whatever, more stuff about your company perhaps. Um, you could do like like just more about the company or more about like your team, stuff like that. Also, there's no like privacy policy or any of that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
You don't have any of those pages, which normally go in the footer, but your footer's not there. Maybe it's just not showing up right now. The stuff about on your About Us page and like your mission or whatever, those pages are also like super thin, so they just look unfinished. So it's probably a work in progress. I'm not going to judge you too much on that, but just something that I'm seeing right now. But yeah, overall, as far as like the basic stuff like the blog goes, I'd say it's looking really good. It's definitely a good start. Like the images, love the tables. The articles look like pretty easy to like sort through and figure stuff out on. Yeah, I'd say you're definitely doing something right here, even though it's not perfect. And I think Google is rewarding you between your site and the links that we built for you recently. So My advice would be to give us more money for managed link building. We'll keep building links for you because yeah, you're definitely going to want more authority. You're still pretty low here,
Yeah.
and yeah, keep
Competitive niche too.
yep, keep adding content. I didn't even see how many pages he has on his site. Keep adding the content though. Keep doing a good job with your content. It's still a pretty small site as well, 82 pages. And that's including like everything, right? Not just articles. So definitely want to keep going there. And yeah, just get the other eat stuff in the footer, and you're looking pretty good here, I think.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to add?
No, it's nice looking at a pretty healthy site for
Cool.
once in a while.
Yeah, it's nice when we get some good ones in here, rather than when we just have to like feel like we're being mean to
Tear them
somebody.
apart. Yeah.
Hey Dirk, hey
Yeah.
Ryan, hey Vincent, hey He-Manth. Yeah, if you guys have any questions, I'll go ahead and drop them in the chat, and yeah, we'll start getting to see what you guys got here. Let's see. For 2024, what's the top 2 focal points for any website from an off-page point of view, particularly for very competitive markets? Yeah, so not much has changed with link building like in the past decade, or maybe like
Yeah.
5 years, 5 to 10. I mean, it's been a pretty
Five,
long
yeah.
time since it seems like there's really been any kind of like massive change as far as link building goes. You want to build quality links, focus on quality rather than quantity. Like get the idea out of your head that you need to build like 200 links a month or something like that, and just focus on like good stuff, right? Focus on links from sites that have decent metrics and traffic, and post content related to your niche. Stay away from, you can get your hands a little dirty and do some little spammier stuff or some kind of more black hat stuff. But in general, I feel like it's just a good idea to focus on quality here, unless you're doing kind of like a churn and burn type project, more like black hat stuff. But then you have to expect to kind of lose everything that you built as well with a penalty or something, right? What else? What's another focal point, Nick? That's one focal point.
Higher authority, closer niche relevance for very competitive market is going to give you an edge. Those harder to find links that are in your niche that really provide relevance from that aspect are going to help a whole lot. But yeah, I mean, like Chris said, nothing really much has changed, especially, in 2024, we're only 2 weeks into the year. But as far as I'm concerned, last year we were doing the same kind of link building we were doing for the previous at least like 3-4 years, right? So yeah, I would say not much has changed.
I guess I'll just throw in the other stuff. So the second focal point, other than quality, will be diversity. So for example, don't go out and just build only haro links, or like don't go out and build like just guest posts, or don't go out and build anything that's just this one thing, right? So, normal websites, natural websites get a wide variety of links. They'll get some editorial stuff, they'll get people like Haro link into them. They'll get link insertions where someone's gone and edited one of their articles and added a link rather than it being from brand new content like a guest post. They'll get stuff like guest post. They might get some featured articles where someone's actually talking about their company rather than just something related to their niche. They'll have a bunch of different types of pillow links as well, like social profiles, citations, maybe even some Web 2.0s, blah, 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 all this kind of stuff, videos links from YouTube. So, try to paint the full picture here, right? Rather than just doing one thing over and over and over again, which is something that Google can easily say, well, hey, this doesn't look very normal. They're just like getting this one type of thing, and no natural site really, this doesn't happen naturally, right? And you can also apply the same concept of diversity to things like your anchor text. So building your anchor text with a diverse mix of different types of anchor text. We like to focus heavily on branded URL and generic anchors and long tail anchors, and then a very small amount of exact match and partial match anchors. And then the third thing you could apply it to would be your target URLs, right? So instead of just like hammering like the pages that you want to rank, we do a lot of homepage building. We love homepage building. We love branded anchors, right? Do a lot of homepage building. You can send some links to your pages you want to rank, of course, but also send links to stuff that's not necessarily stuff you want to rank. Maybe it's supporting content for that stuff. Maybe it's kind of the hub pages on your website that link out to a bunch of other stuff like your blog page or collections page or some kind of category pages, something like that. So yeah, don't just hammer one page over and over and over again. Kind of diversify your targets and get things looking a bit more natural than like building, 50 links to an inner page that you want to rank where all the competitor pages only have like 2 or 3, right? You're automatically just going to stick out like a sore thumb. Um, so yeah, focus on quality and diversity is what I'd go for 2024. But that's the same thing we preach pretty much every year, right? Yeah. All right. Let's see what Ryan's asking over here. Hey guys, curious on your guys' take on why Bing Chat was changed to Bing Copilot. Are they trying to rebrand a chatbot that nobody wants because they prefer old school search? Honestly, I have no idea. I have no
Yes.
idea. I'm the wrong
It's
person
like
to
as
ask
soon as
about this.
Bing,
Yeah.
yeah.
I've actually
Um,
been really like not paying attention to any developments with like ChatGPT and Bing and SGE or any like I've really have not been paying attention at all to it for the past like 1 to 2 months. Before I was kind of like keeping a little eye on it, but I just completely stopped paying attention now. I just don't care. Cross the bridge when we get to it. I've done more than enough worrying, and I don't want to spend my time or making any more decisions on what I think is going to happen. But yeah, I guess we'll see. What do you got, Nick?
that's it. Yeah. It's funny. Somebody else brought Bing up and how they had more traffic from Bing than Google
Yeah, yeah,
recently in the group, and it's like, I can't remember the last time I looked at anything in Bing, but maybe it's time to start. But yeah, whenever you're in something like SEO, there are a lot of different variables to pay attention to. There's always a lot of white noise that goes on where people are speculating real heavy. And a lot of times that makes a lot of people freeze up, especially I think the newer people that are kind of getting started who
yeah,
are worried about whether, they'll be able to get a leg up or not. Whenever you hear something that kind of like strikes fear in your heart, try and put it out a little bit and focus on what is important, which is on page, off page, doing it properly, kind of going through those
yeah.
motions.
Just continue, like keep executing, like keep pumping
Mm,
content, keep pumping backlinks, just like keep doing all this stuff. You can diversify on social media or YouTube or whatever if you're a little bit afraid or, whatever, email list. But yeah, just keep executing, right? And don't I wouldn't spend too much like trying to analyze or whatever. It's just too unpredictable. I will say one more thing. I think that like SGE and maybe like Bing Chat or whatever, I think they are kind of like duds. I don't think anyone wants to use it. Like when people search for stuff, they want the 10 blue links, right? They want the stuff that they're actually
yeah,
searching for. They don't want to talk to some AI who's giving them like generic shit answers. Um,
yeah.
and so, how I use AI mostly right now is kind of like as a personal assistant, right? To do a bunch of just
Mm-hmm.
like random little tasks. And so what you're saying, I didn't even know they did this with Bing Chat to Bing Copilot, but it kind of sounds like what they're trying to do here as well, like taking it instead of like removing it from search and adding it, making it more like a little assistant. It's your Copilot, right? It's always there with you on everything that you do, doing these little tiny things rather than being like the main search feature or whatever. But I have no idea what I'm talking about, so don't take any of this as
No, no, but you're right. I mean, like humans naturally are creatures of habit, right? So like anything that gets brought out that's new, especially when the last 20 years we've been doing things the same way for forever. You know, I've talked to I don't know how many people recently where I'm like, they'll hit me up with a question and it's like, look, um, ask ChatGPT, get yourself a ChatGPT account. And I'm not talking about SEOs, I'm talking about people in other walks of life, right? And it's like, yeah, just ask ChatGPT, get yourself an account on there. It's invaluable, like it's amazing. They will not do it. They'll go, oh yeah, yeah, like I'm sure it's really great. Oh, I've heard about that on TV. Oh, wasn't there a South Park episode? Whatever, but they will not go sign up.
well, that's the thing
Because
about Bing
in their
Chat is you could
mind,
just
it's
do
like,
it, right? You just had to
I'll just
click
go to
over to the
Google.
other tab, but they probably still won't even do
Yeah,
that.
but will they do that? Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, even if at some point there is mass adoption, it's not going to be anytime soon, I don't think, just based on how the average person utilizes search.
Yeah. We'll see. But yeah, not worried about it. Not going to spend any more time thinking about it really. What I will spend a little bit of time on is new tools that people bring up that I know could save me time. I'll do that.
Yeah.
But most of them are actually not that. Most of the new tools and stuff that come out are just complete trash, and you should just ignore them, right? You don't need to optimize a million different things. But if you like every now and then you'll see one that you're like, oh my God, this is like built just for me, right? And it'll, whatever, for your use case, it'll just be insane. But for the most part,
I'll give a little plug, and we are not affiliated with them at all, but we do use them. Opus.pro put out some new updates, maybe like a month or a month and a half ago that I'm really happy with. But like that's one of those tools where it's just like, oh wow, you're really helping automate some
yeah, if
stuff
you're trying to
with
automate video shorts,
absolute
that could be
low effort.
a good one.
Mm.
Hey, Vincent, I see your question here. Any tips on blog posting? That's a, we'll be happy to answer any kind of questions, but that's a very big question. That question is basically like, how do I blog, or how do I do SEO, or how do I,
Go into
you could
our
do what Nick was just saying.
so
Go and type in chat GPT,
Chat-
tips
no,
for
no,
blog
no, not
posts.
ChatGPT, but Chris put out an on-page guide forever ago that I think would be a good starting point for you.
Yeah.
And then, get in our YouTube channel and start going down the rabbit hole. We've made tons of
Yes.
videos on this kind of information. You're basically saying like ground up, where do I get
Yeah,
started,
it's kind of like
etc.
you're asking like, do you have any
Yeah, to
tips on
go.
building a house?
Yeah.
It's like, well,
Um,
yeah, we got a lot.
Strong
Um,
foundation, will help with the longevity of it. Once you said the house, I'm like, okay, so yeah, strong foundation as far as
I got some tips though. I got some tips.
on page, off page.
Avoid shortcuts.
Mm,
As a beginner, avoid shortcuts, and just try to absorb a lot of information right now. You can subscribe to our YouTube. You can join our Facebook group, SEO Roundtable. We're in there every day posting tips and answering people's questions that they ask us. So definitely do that stuff, and you'll kind of get SEO always like kind of in your brain and always popping up on your computer. And yeah, it's kind of a long learning process, but if you have any like more like specific questions that we, could actually answer on a live stream or whatever, we'll be happy to answer here or in the group. But it's just a really big question, unfortunately. All right. Um, Thoughts on using resurrected expired domains to 301 redirect to acquired us page versus doing guest posting or link insertions. I find these expired domains have valuable links. Yeah, so that's, expired domains and 301 redirects are definitely not a new tactic or anything. This is, we love redirects and using domains, right? Because essentially what you're doing when you buy an expired or an aged domain and then redirect it is you're essentially buying a bunch of backlinks at a very big discount, right? Because to build those links all completely brand new, to do all those guest posting, those link insertions, everything, take a lot of money. But when you buy it just at a domain and redirect it over, you end up getting them much cheaper, right? Per link. The one thing I will mention is I feel like expired domains can definitely be a little bit more hit or miss these days. So it's not like you're getting like 100% success rate when you're 301ing it over, especially if it's an expired domain that's probably, could be like been sitting inactive for quite some time. But yeah, what you're doing, creating an acquired by us page and redirecting it over there, whatever, sounds very natural, right? It's like, this company bought out this other company. Now they're sending the website over to their website. So you could send like most of the links to the acquired us page, and then you could also 301 other stuff to individual like very similar pages if there are any. Could be a good thing to do as well. Yeah, what do you got on that, Nick?
I would say, okay, so the one thing I would say I don't agree with is like, so you don't want to create an inner page, so an acquired us page, and then 301, 3 or 4 expired domains to acquired us
Like
pages.
individual pages,
What's
like per
natural?
301, per like site
Huh?
acquired.
What? Sorry?
I was saying I was just reiterating what you're saying. Like, don't redirect them all to the same acquired by us page. Like, make an individual
Well,
one for each.
I wouldn't do that at all, quite honestly. Like, what's natural is when a company takes over another company, they're going to 301 that brand directly to their homepage, and then they can have an acquired us page, just kind of like explaining what happened. But
Hmm.
I don't like taking 301s or taking a domain and 301ing them to an inner page.
Hmm.
It's not natural, and I've tried it too before on hub pages and category pages, and that loophole kind of got closed. Last I checked, a few years ago, especially if you're doing it um, way too many times. So like if you've got 3 or 4 of these domains going to inner pages, the one way that you might be able to get away with it with a little bit more um, possibility of getting it to execute properly is if you're doing subdomains. But then of course you're like kind of switching up what you're doing. So especially if you're newer and asking this kind of stuff, don't try and get too fancy with your 301s. Like a 301 is typically this brand got bought out and now it goes to this brand. Homepage to homepage. If you follow that, you're going to have a lot less volatility and a lot less issues than if you're trying to 301 what used to be like a URL that stood as like a golf niche website. Um, back to an inner page. It's typically not going to come out all that proper.
I'll
Create a
just,
lot
to
of
be devil's
volatility.
advocate, I'll go and throw in that I've seen some 301s done very nicely like that. They basically have an acquisition page to say, hey, basically they're speaking to the people who basically would be actually 301 from the other side. Like, hey, we acquired the website or whatever that you're trying to visit. This is who we are. This is what we do. And then it'll actually have like a it'll have like a list of like links and stuff that they can visit to explore on their site or whatever. So it's basically like funneling
Mm,
them in a very like natural way, like a very like user first approach. I don't even know how to say it, but it's basically like
mm,
has the user in mind. A user gets 301 from one brand they're trying to visit over to another brand. They're like, well, hey, what is this weird site that I'm on? Like, hey, welcome to our stuff. This is what we do. This is what you can find that's similar to what you might be looking for. Stuff like that. Um, seem to work pretty good and look really nice. But yeah, I don't have like a ton of experience with it myself. Haven't been 301ing like crazy these days. So, but yeah, definitely seen some done pretty nicely like that. Um, Anything else to add on that?
no.
Cool. Um, Trippy the Legend. I like the name. What's going on Facebook? We'll get over to you next on Facebook, sir. I'm really struggling on finding a niche for my first blog. Can you please give some insights on what I should do to find a really good niche? Um,
Keyword research. And
yes.
also, I mean, I feel like I remember early on, kind of ignoring some advice and going after money. But I think especially like starting out, it helps if you have an interest in the subject matter
Yeah.
that you are
I
trying to
actually
get
really
out
agree with
there.
that. I know some
Um,
people will disagree, but I really agree with
yeah,
that.
because like a lot of people are motivated by money, but if you're doing countless articles or working on a project that you're just not that into, that timeline is going to feel really long, and a lot of people are going to,
And you're kind of like having to learn the subject matter as you go along
yeah.
too, which is like huge
Mm-hmm.
pain. So yeah, like especially for like a first project, I would 100% agree with Nick. Maybe you don't have to be a super expert on it, but to find something that you're like kind of like interested in, you actually do know something about, could be really nice. So you're just not hit with like learning two things at the same time, which is like SEO
Mm.
and whatever you're supposed to be writing about or whatever. Um, and then so from there, so let's say you make a list of some things that you're interested in, or maybe things you're even interested in, like learning, could also work really well. And then from there, do some keyword research and try to make sure like what you're trying to get into is not like too high competition. Like so, for example, you probably want to stay away from something like reviewing any kind of technology, right? Stuff is just super high competition. It's going to be really hard to rank for a lot of it, unless you're kind of like in a
Casino.
Yeah.
porno,
Yeah, I might want to
don't
stay
jump in.
away from like adult stuff as well. Probably want to stay away from any like YMYL stuff, your money, your life, like
Yeah.
health type things, maybe financial type stuff. Um, so yeah, so basically make a list of stuff you like, and then what I would do is filter out the ones that would be like too high competition. You can do this by looking at a tool like Ahrefs or probably like Ubersuggest if you don't have a paid tool. Um, and yeah, just looking for some opportunity where it wouldn't be too hard and you can actually like find some openings and whatnot. But yeah, kind of a little bit of a big question that we're not going to be able to explain here fully. But yeah, make sure you're in our Facebook group if you're not already, SEO Roundtable. And if you have any more like specific questions about finding your niche or how to judge like what's high competition, low competition, all that stuff, you can ask questions in the group and we're in there every day answering questions. Anything else, Nick?
No, also.
Cool. All right. Let's get this guy over here. Oh, this was a comment from the audit we did. Thank you for the website review. We are in the redesigning process to improve UI UX, footer, privacy policy, disclaimer, social, all there. We'll implement your suggestions. Cool. Yeah, it seems like you're on a really good path here, right? We didn't really see like any like huge errors other than that, and it seems like we were right, and you're just kind of still a work in progress. So yeah, keep it up, man. All right. Let's see. Subscribed. I started my Bitcoin website in 2016 when I was 15, and I've spent zero on SEO. I have 11 DA only from organic growth. What is the best free way to increase DA apart from guest posting? Um, so the best way to increase DA is to get on Fiverr and to spend like $5 on a completely trashy spam black hat blast from some guy in India. And they will
That'll
increase
do
your
it.
DA to like 90 in literally like 30 minutes. It's insane. Uh, that this is true. This is true. You can actually do that. But don't actually do it. Do not do it. Giving you advice
It's
now.
not gonna
Don't
help.
actually do that thing.
It's not gonna help you get what you actually want, which
Yeah.
is rankings.
Exactly. So there are ways to like game these numbers, right? And it doesn't always translate to what Google knows is good. So don't worry about, my advice would be don't worry about DA. Don't worry about boosting your DA. Focus on essentially doing digital press, which is link building, right? You want to be talked about on the internet. You want to be talked about in a good way on the internet. You want people to link to your website. You want to have your brand be mentioned. And the way that you do this is link building. So basically, if you probably see in the corner of the screen right now, need backlinks, go to solinks.co. We are a link building agency. This is what we do. You do not have to buy links from us though. There's plenty of other vendors you could buy links from, or you could try to build them yourself. Just know that building links yourself, it's essentially a full-time job, right? It's why people come and pay an agency like us, because it takes a ton of time and no one likes emailing, hundreds of people a day, and the very low success chance that they get on these emails of people agreeing to post content or post a link on their website to them. So yeah, I wouldn't really focus on the free stuff, but there are some free methods of link buildings you can do. Free backlinks. I don't know why it's not coming up in my history right now, but I'll go ahead and post a article here for you that I wrote in the past. So yeah, this article has some ways to get free links. But just keep in mind that most of these ways of getting free links, or a lot of them, they're links that we consider pillow links, which are not really ones that are going to push your authority higher, push your rankings really high, but it's kind of helping things look natural for Google. But there are some on there that will help increase your authority. For example, like Haro link building, or you can actually get like free guest posts and stuff like that, or going on like podcasts or whatever. So there are some things on there that actually get you like quality free links. Just know that in general it is harder to get links for free. Most people are going to ask for money, and that if you're serious about your business or whatever, you kind of have to see this as an investment at some point. And yeah, it is what it is these days, right? Anything to add on that, Nick?
Yeah, so first off, congratulations on being 15 and getting started in something like that. Because if you would have seen me and Chris at 15, holy shit, it is a miracle that we got anywhere near where we're at right now. Okay, so you're a fucking genius, and kudos. Now, mind you, though, a lot of times, especially when we're younger, we figure out these things, we'll make some money. And I've seen a lot of young SEOs over the years. I'm not the brightest SEO, but I've definitely seen some younger guys that had a lot of talent come out and then skimp on some business building kind of things that in the end ended up sniping their whole, momentum when like a real heavy shift came and they weren't spending money in the right places, or they were, just not taking that quote career seriously. They fell off. If you start in 2016 and you're in crypto at age 15, you spent zero on SEO, then you're doing something right. My guess is you're making some profit. You probably got some money there. Allocate a certain percentage, whatever the hell that is, figure it out, sit down, allocate a certain percentage to building up the momentum of this website. Especially now, dude, we're at the beginning of a bull run in crypto. Maximize the amount of traffic that you get onto that website, and you're going to maximize the amount of crypto you're sucking out of the markets via this blog as well. So learn a little bit about backlinking. Start allocating a little bit of money towards that. Start allocating more money towards content, especially if you think this year is going to be big for markets in general, then the more traffic you add, the more potential you have of, sucking more money out. So it's a cool flex to say, I've spent nothing on SEO since 2016, got organic growth going, etc. But had you allocated a certain amount of, the income coming into that site, back into the site, you might have exponential growth compared to where you're at now. So it's
Or just
something to
profits
consider.
from trading crypto, right?
Yeah, yeah. So really cool, but at the same time, you're kind of missing something. So it is a cool flex, but at the same time, you could be probably a lot further than you are now. So I would advise at least taking a look, at what you could do as far as potentially growing this site really quickly.
Yeah. I'll just add one, you got to spend money to make money. And
Mm.
I had a number two, but I have no idea what it was anymore. But anyway, just look at it like an
Dude,
investment, right?
yeah.
You pretty much you get what you pay for these days. Things have changed a lot in the past 10 years or whatever. Um, or,
If
maybe 10 years plus ago for as far as link building. Now there's definitely a higher barrier to entry to making money on the internet, I would say. I mean, not for everybody, but for a lot of niches there is, especially things that are very popular. For example, crypto. I would expect to, need some kind of investment into your website to see good traffic on it. Unless you're like really going after some like real like kind of obscure kind of keywords. Maybe you're really into these like small cap coins and stuff that not a lot of people have content about. That could be a thing. But yeah, I would kind of try to shift your mindset on this from spending zero on SEO, and I saw some growth to, I'm in a competitive space and I'm going to need to have some investment into this site for it to, um, you know, make me a lot more money. And you will see an ROI. Like if you're, as long as you're not like doing, like really messing some stuff up, the ROI is there. Like the amount of money you can make on the internet with a blog, especially in a popular space like crypto, is just insane, right? So yeah, just got to be kind of play the game a little bit. Anything left on that, Nick?
Nope. So
All right. Um, let's see. Should I write a meta description in the post to rank for a featured snippet? As far as I know, meta descriptions don't have anything to do with featured snippets. Let's see if Nick can get his microphone off. That's a new mic, so he's having a rough time. uh, Still doing it. Oh, there he goes. Okay. Um, Sorry. So yeah, Yeah, as far as featured snippets go, I think what you really want to do is just try to answer queries like super directly. And I think I'm really bad with some like terminology, but I think what you really want to do is answer right here, answer in an NLP friendly way. So this is like basically if someone asks like, what is SEO? And then you answer it in a very formulaic way, which is like SEO is blah blah blah. So you could have like a heading, like an H2 or an H3 in your content that like asks the question or the keyword or whatever, and then right under it in the paragraph tag, when you start your paragraph, you could answer it in this very NLP friendly format. It's very direct. It's very easy for Google's robots basically to understand, right? And doing this kind of thing will greatly increase your chance of being in a featured snippet. But yeah, other than that, you also need to generally feature snippets are pulled from like pretty like high ranking articles and stuff as well, right? So you still want to rank for it too. Yeah, hopefully that helps. Um, let's see what else we got here. I have a new blog and I'm facing indexation issues. How can I overcome it? Yeah, so I think we get this question at least once every live stream that we do. Um, and I'll try to answer it very simply for you. So basically, number one, you said you have a new blog. So when someone says they have a new blog, I think a couple things. A, you don't have much content. B, you don't have many backlinks. C, because it's a new blog, you might be new to SEO, and if you are new to SEO, you're probably messing up a bunch of like random stuff, like not doing like quality content, or not doing like interlinking, or maybe your on page isn't good, or maybe your site structure is weird. Like these are a lot of like common things that we see people do wrong when they first make their new site. But maybe you're not new to SEO, maybe you know what you're doing with all that stuff. So if I had to guess, yeah, it'd either be you don't have enough backlinks and your website's not getting crawled very often. So adding backlinks to your website can help crawlers get onto your website and index things a lot faster. So for example, on our website, sirlinksalot.co, where we sell all of our link building services, whenever we post a new article on Sir Links a Lot, it gets indexed within 24 hours. It's usually more something like 12 hours or so. It gets indexed very quickly. And that's because Google knows who we are. We have a ton of backlinks pointing to our website. And so our website gets crawled often, and bots looking for updates and whatnot. And yeah. So, but yeah, another thing is maybe you just don't have a lot of content on your website. Like if you have a little like 5 or 10 or 20 page, or even a little 50-page website that hasn't been up too long, you could just work on just continue adding content as well. And then a lot of times you also see problems with content quality, I think, affecting indexation. Like if you're just like copy and pasting ChatGPT content, maybe you don't have many images in it, maybe no interlinking, just kind of like really bare bone, like wall of text articles. I've seen stuff like that have quite a bit of trouble indexing as well. And there are things you can do other than what I've mentioned before. There are indexers like Omega Indexer and Speedlinks, which can help index stuff. But to be completely honest with you, and I know you'll probably just ignore what I'm about to say, and you'll probably just go try to use those services and get your stuff indexed. Instead of doing that, I would try to figure out why it's not getting indexed, right? Because there's an issue there. If things are not getting indexed, you need to fix that rather than trying to like use these indexing services to get it indexed, and that'll be a lot better for you in the long run. But yeah, Nick, I'm not sure if you were here for all of it, but I said basically the big things we see for indexation issues are for new sites is they don't have any backlinks or not many backlinks at all. B, maybe they just don't have hardly any content on their website. Or C, maybe if it's a new blog and they're new to SEO, maybe they've just done a bunch of stuff wrong, like low quality content, lack of interlinking, lack of images, etc., stuff like that. Do you have anything else you'd like to add?
Nope, sounds good.
Cool. All right. Let's see if we got anything over here on Facebook. Nope, all comments from YouTube today. Vincent says, thanks, you guys helped me a lot. I still rank on Google but not as good as before. Yeah, things have got a little bit more difficult recently, right? And I think you're definitely not alone with um, not ranking as well on Google as you did before, right? I'm out in Chiang Mai right now, and there's a bunch of SEOs out here, Chiang Mai, Thailand, and I talk to at least one person every week who has not just one website, but like a portfolio of affiliate sites. We're talking like 10, 20 sites, maybe even more. And they're like, yeah, I'm down like 60% overall or whatever. So,
Mm.
it's not just you. It's a lot of people, even people who've been doing this for a good amount of time. So everyone's having to kind of change how they do things right now and adapt, right? Which is just what happens in SEO. Can I still make a lot of money with affiliate marketing with my blog if I am advertising cheap products, meaning price-wise under $10 products getting? So yeah, if you're gonna sell cheap products, you're gonna need much higher search volume, right?
Yep.
And depends. So yeah, it looks like your commission is what, like 10 to 20%. Um,
That's good commission.
I was about to say the commission actually seems quite high, right?
Hmm.
Um, yeah, so it's a pretty decent commission, cheap product. So yeah, you're just gonna need a lot of search volume to make money on that kind of stuff, right? Um, I don't really think there's any way around that or any other answer. Do you have anything to add on that, Nick?
No, I mean, like you said, just you're gonna have to decide how much is quote a lot of money to you, and whether you can get those multiples depending on the amount of traffic that's available. Yeah.
Yeah, so this is a problem a lot of that can people can run into when they get started in a niche, right? Is um, that they don't pay attention to something like this, and then they build all this whole site, all this content, blah blah blah, and it's like, oh, I'm getting all this traffic, and but just you're just not making a lot of money because it's just such a low ticket item, right? Versus a lot of like the guys who've been in SEO for a while, they like to go over these like high ticket items, like 1K, 2K purchases, even more. Um, I've got
Although I
a
will,
friend who's going into the uh, pre-manufactured like homes niche, which seems really cool, right? These are some nice like high ticket items there. Um, yeah, what were you about to say, Nick?
just that there is it's like you want to do market research for all this stuff, because that's an interesting thing you bring up too, is high ticket items, because a lot of times these high ticket items, might have lower search traffic into the SERPs, but you sell one every once in a while and you've made quite a bit of money. But a lot of people selling these $10 items are selling much higher volumes of them and making more money than the big ticket items. Like there's always a give and take to both, right? And you're going to have to do market research and just kind of decide for yourself where you think that sweet spot's going to be for you. If you think about, like, I don't know, a broader perspective on this, like, who do you think makes more money, Ferrari or Ford Motor Company, right? One's got a lower ticket, but higher traffic amounts going to them to purchase cars, versus the other one is a bit more, specified, but has less competition in their niche for a higher end car, right? Like the same thing can be said about, websites and the products sold on websites as well. So, good market research is going to be your key to understanding, what you want. And ultimately, from this question, I'm guessing that's quote a lot of money, right? So, yeah, go in there and don't just invest in the first thing that you find. Start doing a lot of research and kind of gain a idea of what you want to go after.
Yeah, and you can do a little more research and you can try to find some other kind of offers in your niche or whatever. Maybe there's more stuff out there that's kind of related to what you're already selling, or maybe there's just more expensive products than the one that you're selling right now.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, just gotta kind of dig around a little bit, right? But it's not always possible, depending on what the niche is. Might be, um, if you just can't find anything and it just doesn't seem like it's worth the amount of effort, then it might be worth it to go into something else, right? Which is not
Hmm.
always a bad thing. You're actually making money on the internet, and you're
Yeah.
converting, so you know how to do it now. And now you can just apply it to something that you know do a little more research on and can make more money from. So, silver lining is that you figured out how to make money on the internet, and you can go do it with a million other things because it all works exactly, more or less the exact same way, right? You're just like changing the niche around and maybe how you communicate to your clients, the type of language you use and stuff. But anyway, it's all like very, very similar. Once you can do it with one thing, it's very similar for all the other stuff. But that would be worst case scenario, right? But anyway, good job on making sales and stuff. Um, we don't do Skyscraper. You can just Google, there's a ton of content on Skyscraper, Matty SE, or you can go look up just Brian Dean's article. I would just go look at Brian Dean's stuff and see what he's doing. Got a bunch of questions popping up now. Are you guys familiar with the best business mode for... Do you understand this question, Nick? Are you guys familiar with the best business
I'm
model?
waiting for it to load up.
So it says, are you guys familiar with the best business model for rank and rent sites for local businesses?
Well, an ability to get a GMB is going to be, your absolute best practice, because majority of those phone calls are going to go to somebody in the top 3 or top 2, depending on the SERP, for that, or I guess sometimes top 4 of that GMB. However, that's become incredibly hard to do. You can't just go purchase mass GMBs anymore, as far as I know. I've heard of somebody doing it recently that said they were sticking for now, but it's just not a model that I like to mess with, because every time somebody figures it out, then they
figure it
close the
out.
loophole and everybody lose it. Yeah.
But yeah,
but that would be the best.
Well, there's other ways you can go about it too, though, right? So you can actually have a website like without a GMB, which is pretty much, if you go watch our podcast with James Dooley, they have like over 600 rank and rent sites. That's what he does. He no GMB, and they just start giving people free traffic at first, and then they control the site, and then then they say, well, hey, if you want these leads to keep coming, then you got to start paying us. Then they start paying them, and then but James always keeps control of the site, and then they will just basically add some of their their phone numbers and whatever in, and every now and then, if they've been with them for a while, they might make changes to the website or whatever, but in general, they keep control over it. Another thing you can do is you can have your own website and then rank a page that's like best plumbers in Austin, and then you can charge people to be on your list, right? So this is kind of rank and rent in a little bit of a different kind of way, where it's just your website, and they're not renting the whole site, but rather they're just listing a slot on your one page on your list or whatever. And another thing you can do is you could do that exact same thing, except you could do it with parasite SEO. So you could buy for example, a post on Outlook India for $250 or whatever, and you could do like, hey, these are the top 3 plumbers in Austin. You have them listed on your little article. I think it was Jackie Cho that was talking about this, and before, the way he did it was he would actually negotiate with the people and then put their names on the list. But the problem with that is they can then decide to stop paying, and you can't change the article because it's not on your website, it's on Outlook India, right? And so what you can do is you could actually build out 3 little rank and rent websites, and so you could actually keep control of them. So you're linking to your own websites, and then basically you could just charge the people to basically get funneled from that website to them, right? Yeah, so there's different ways you could go about it, but we're actually not like super local rank and rent people. But yeah, definitely I would check out our podcast with James Dooley. And then if you want more information, he's done a bunch of other podcasts, puts out content as well. And then Jackie Cho has some good content out on this stuff as well. You can check out him over at Indexy on their YouTube channel. Anything else we can add on that, Nick?
No, I think it's good.
Cool. Let's see. And we're going to have to kind of start winding down, guys. We are out of time, but we'll try to answer whatever we got here left real quick. blog that's getting 42K page views a month, just get a little more page views and go to Mediavine, man. You don't need that many more, right? Just you could try like Ezoic or whatever, but a lot of people have problems with them. Or you could just stay on AdSense till you get a little bit more page views. Yeah, we're not like huge ads people, but yeah, I know you're pretty close to Mediavine, so go for that. Um, I'm not sure if I answer this. I build some killer blogs that are by far the most in-depth with really good photos, etc. But I find the lead sourcing ineffective. What does he mean by lead sourcing, Nick? Do you know what he means?
I can't see the questions you're putting up.
So he says,
there we go.
he says,
All right.
I build some killer blogs that are by far the most in-depth with really good photos, etc. But I find the lead sourcing ineffective. Maybe it means he's like not getting leads from it.
Could be, yeah.
So if you're not, if you're getting blogs, if you're writing these awesome blog posts, which by the way, I haven't seen your blog post, so it's hard to tell, but every single time someone's told me that their blog posts are awesome, I'm saying like seriously, like 99.9% of the time, they're horrible.
Yeah.
I don't know what yours is like, but I'm just saying every time someone says this to me, I swear to God, you look at it and you're like, bro, no. But anyway, so first you want to write awesome blog posts, right? Second, you actually need the blog post to rank, like at the top of Google. If they're not ranking, you're not going to get any leads from it.
Or you're running ads or something,
yeah,
traffic.
maybe you're promoting it on social media or something. But you actually need people to go to the blog, however you do it, SEO or social media ads or whatever. So you need to get them onto the blog, and then once they're on the blog, you actually need to funnel the lead to whatever you're trying to get them to do, like whatever goal you want them to complete, signing up for your email list or buying a product or clicking an affiliate link or whatever. So yeah, it's just hard to tell like really where to come at this question from because it's a bunch of different answers, right? If you're not getting people landing on it, then you need to work on your SEO or your social media funnel or your ad targeting or whatever. If they are landing on the page, but if they're not going to where they need to go on your website, not completing the goal, then you need to work on how you're funneling them around. Maybe prioritize things differently, have better buttons and more appealing offers, I guess. But yeah, anything else on that, Nick?
I don't think so. No. I guess one last thing is just kind of understand, because this question could be directed towards any kind of website. So what you're, having an expectation of what kind of conversions you're supposed to get via what kind of traffic you have, given what niche you're in, is going to be a big thing too. Because, let's say you're trying to promote some guru course on cryptocurrency, right? And like everything is written really well, but again, you're not getting traffic there. Even that can be low conversion rate. Or then there's higher, stuff like $10 items where you'd expect to sell a decent amount of them because of low cost to sell, etc. So, kind of hard to get too specific on this, but I guess know your niche and kind of what conversion you're supposed to expect out of the amount of traffic you've got.
Yes, sir. I zoned out, but I agree with Nick. All right.
I can always tell when you zone out too.
Okay, so Taha says, I'm doing this for 3 years, but whenever my site's getting 30K traffic a month, I stop writing content. I kind of lose motivation. All right, so yeah, the cool thing about that problem, Taha, is instead of losing motivation, you can just hire writers and they will stay motivated because they want you to pay them money, right? So if you're losing motivation on writer, pay someone else to do it, man. Move on to whatever else. Spend your time doing something more important than writing content, right? That'd be my solution for you. But yeah, you're close to Mediavine. You're close to that 50K. Just get some writers, pump some content, and do a little bit of investment, and you're gonna see those RPMs jump up, quite a bit from what AdSense is giving you, right? So, you're almost there. Just push it a little bit further, man. And guys, please, no more questions. We're gonna Vincent down at the bottom is gonna be the last question. We gotta go at some point. But I'm gonna try to answer these real quickly for you guys. Uh, okay, thanks. We'll check that out. Would you recommend for backlinks nowadays? I have 2 full-time for SEO, so man hours is not an issue for my backlink building. Currently doing Haro plus Listicle. Yeah, so I would say keep doing Haro. Haro's cool. I would say the majority of your time I would spend on doing guest posting and link insertions, with Haro maybe being like 10 or 15% of your manpower or something like that. Or you could just have like a VA that does like only Haro or whatever. But most of like your resources I would do on like guest posting and link insertions. I'm guessing you probably don't really need much like foundational link building if you already have that kind of stuff. Yeah, guest posting and link insertions. The outreach, you're just doing outreach to real websites, and the way you do the outreach is exactly the same thing, pretty much. Link insertions could be easier because you're actually like finding the content and saying, can we be featured in this? You could just edit this line or whatever. It makes it easy for them versus like having to write an article and post the content and blah blah blah. But yeah, guest posting and link insertions would be where I spend most of your time. Or you could get from an agency like us over at sirlinksalot.co that you probably see in the bottom right hand corner right now. That's our business model. Is what we do, and guest posting and link insertions is definitely the breadwinners of our agency.
Not gonna lie, too, it'd be hard to beat our price point hiring new people and starting up new systems and going down that rabbit hole versus just allocating a certain percentage of your budget to a company that's already got the networks built out.
Yeah, it just kind of depends
Shameless
like what
plug,
your
there it is.
For sure. I would say it depends kind of like where your budget's at, right? I don't want to tell people like, you can definitely like save a decent amount of money if you do it yourself. There's a lot of like time and like cost involved in getting to that point. So depending on where you are at, like how much money you're bringing in, how much you can invest on like building a team to do that for you and the tools required to do it and yada, yada, yada. You might not be quite there yet, but maybe with some link building for someone like us, then you can eventually get there. Then you could cut us out, and we'll be crying all the way to the all the way home, right? And then yeah, everyone will be happy. Anything else out on that, Nick?
No.
Cool. Yeah, man, you're welcome, Michael. And yeah, definitely check out James Dooley, kind of rake and rent master, right?
Yeah, we have a podcast with them.
That was for the other question you already replied. It was a continuation. Oh, so we answered a question completely wrong about Skyscraper. Oh, so
I never saw that question.
contacting leads for Skyscraper, you literally just look up everyone with the same content in Ahrefs, Mattias. You just plug in all the pages that are ranking. You could just like outreach to like the top like 30 pages that are ranking for that. And you go and you look up and see all the people linking to them, and then you reach out to every single one of them and you follow up, right?
You want to put that question up or no?
Okay. How to finding leads to contact for Skyscraper. Yeah, so Skyscraper is a link building technique where you basically look at people who are already linking to similar content, and then you reach out to them and say, hey, link to our content, it's better, right? So first of all, you need to make content that doesn't suck and it's actually better. That'll help a lot. Next, what you do is go into Ahrefs or a similar tool and just look up like the top 20 or 30 like ranking pages. Just depends how many links these pages are getting. Like that, there might be a ton of people to contact right there. But you can do at least like the first like 10 page ranking pages, right? You pop each one of them into Ahrefs and you go and you look at all the domains that are sending backlinks to that page. So you just compile a huge list of all the domains that are linking to all of the similar content from those top 10, 20, or 30 ranking pages. Then you can filter out the ones like you don't want or whatever, or that you think that you can't get or whatever. Just filter it out, and then that's your outreach list. Yeah, it's just not I didn't make this up. This is Brian Dean's Skyscraper technique. I'm not a genius, but yeah, that's what you do for it. You have anything else out on that, Nick?
Nope.
Cool. I have permission to, sorry, go ahead and put this up. I have permission to translate, rephrase, and restructure articles from a website. I am not using AI. I've been doing this for a long time. Does Google know? I appear top 10 on Google on every keyword. I don't know.
So
I don't really understand the
you're
question.
translating another website's articles and posting them up. Like it's a technique I've seen people do over the years that can yield some results. Regardless, I mean, who cares whether Google knows? My guess is they don't, or it's just not something that they're worried about. What matters is the latter part, which is you appear top 10 for
Yeah.
every keyword.
If you're
So
top 10, then Google doesn't see it as duplicate content and you're
yeah,
good.
good to go. Now it might at one point you might get sniped, so have like, an alternative plan, but yeah, I mean, if it's working, it's working,
Yeah.
right?
I would be, so something I'm trying to do now with all the content that I do is, or the SOPs and tell the authors to do, is to focus on like information gain, which is, and you don't even have to be, that sounds like hardcore. It sounds like you have to be like a super expert in the field, but you don't have to be that to like trick Google. You just need to say
Mhm.
stuff about the entities in the article that haven't been said a million times by everyone else, right? And that can even just mean using adjectives that haven't been used, or like just anything. It's like, oh, we didn't like it that much because this thing sucks, or like whatever. Just something that hasn't been said about it. And so you're basically putting something new onto the internet, and I think Google's going to kind of prioritize this as the internet continues to get spammed out with AI content. But what you're doing, translating, rephrasing, restructuring, this is basically how people have been, or SEOs have been doing content for the past how many years now, Nick? For
Wait, sorry, what?
like basically translating, rephrasing, or restructuring articles is basically
Yeah,
how SEOs have been doing content for quite some time now, even before
yeah,
AI. Now AI is
yeah.
just kind of speeding it up, right? But it's fine to
Yeah, I
do.
remember
Maybe
like
not super morally correct, depending on if you have permission or not. But yeah, just focus on information again a bit and focus on adding some eat into the articles, and you should be good. But as far as right now, it looks like you're doing okay. But like Nick said before, someone could snipe you, or Google could go and decide you're low quality content because you haven't added anything new after another like HCU update, helpful content update. So just focus on that other stuff a little bit. Try to safeguard what you've done rather than just kind of winging it, I guess. That'd be my advice. What were you gonna say, Nick?
not sure, but either way, I think we covered it. I zoned
Cool.
out.
All right, I think that is the last one. Taha says thanks. You're welcome, sir. Maria says thanks. Appreciate it a lot. Then he says, does my content suck? I don't know, Matthias. If you want us to audit your site, though, go ahead and send us an email, info@sirlinksalot.co, and we will we can audit it for you on one of the next live streams. I wanted to put this one as well because I didn't see this one. This will be the last question for real, for real. What is the best content strategy for a dental website so it falls in a YMYL category? So should I need to hire a dentist for my content, or is there another way to produce the content that Google ranks? So I've heard some people using people as the author without even telling them, like people that are known in the field. I've heard that people do this from time to time. You could I've heard that they also sometimes don't link out to their website or anything, so they don't know that they're being linked to, and they just might not find it or something like that. But I don't know about doing that. I don't know if that's morally correct. You might not want to do that. I've also,
No, I go ahead and say here that it is not legal, and 100% we do not
yeah, no, we
endorse
don't endorse
doing
that.
something
I've
like
also
that. It can
heard
get you sued.
I've also heard of people making
People.
like fake personas and stuff, which,
Mhm.
I don't know if that's exactly morally correct or anything either. And it'd be a little bit harder with YMYL stuff. Or you could just go on somewhere that there's a bunch of places where they offer like, this content has been reviewed by blah blah blah, and you pay them like a couple bucks for an article, and they look at it and they put their little stamp on it, and then you can include that person completely legally and morally correct in your article. Say, hey, it was written by this author, but it was reviewed by this like smart guy over here, and I've heard that's a way you could do stuff as well. I think that. What were you gonna say?
Another thing, like just like on a, it's going to take more money probably, but I think it's
You
sort of
can
funny
hire
when we
writers.
talk about something like a doctor, right? Like, because we think that they're all like really prestigious, high authority, high moral value. Dude, look at these pill pushing sons of bitches out there just collecting commission checks with no moral regard to what they're doing. They're all over the
True.
place.
True.
You can find one in a forum somewhere and be like, hey, I will pay you X amount of dollars. And for YMYL, this could be very worthwhile to you, depending on how much money you're making, But you can find these people that are going to sign off on all sorts of stuff. You look at how many different insurances or different doctors now provide telehealth communication where you're like, the other day I had an issue. I got on telehealth and the guy wouldn't even video me. He said he was in an appointment right now and chatting with me and then gave me medication through the chat. So like never saw him, never met him, never heard his voice, nothing, right? Like, so, there's probably some ways to go ahead and get an authentic, rep out there.
Another
I
way,
don't know what it would cost you, but
another thing I've heard of doing is just straight up paying professionals to say that they wrote it. So not even reviewed by, you could just pay them and they're like, oh yeah, it's fine. You can just say that I, wrote all the content on your website. And people do that. They
yeah,
they accept money. You pay them and they will let you do that, like use their name on everything.
yeah. Again, this
Or you
is
could pay
not
for
any
authors.
kind of,
Or you could pay for authors. You
yeah,
could actually pay for writers who have expertise in the field or whatever.
yeah.
You got a dental website. Yeah, you could actually pay for people. That website could make a bunch of money. You could make an investment into the website and actually pay, people that know what they're talking about to write on it. That's just one
Mhm.
option. There are other
Yeah,
options out there for you, but you will have to make that choice yourself. We can't give you any recommendations on that.
yeah.
Um,
No actionable advice here
all
on
right. Anything else
this
to add,
kind of
Nick?
stuff. Nope.
All right. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and call it there, guys. Thanks for coming out. Hopefully our answers helped you. We've got niche edits on sale this month, 10% off link insertions, with AKA niche edits, with code niche11. Yeah, some of our most popular links. We always like to start the new year off with a good sale rather than one of like the less popular things. So most popular links on sale, niche edits 10% for the rest of the month. Got about 2 weeks left on that bad boy. I've also
Nice.
got a podcast coming up. We're going to record tomorrow with Mr. Kazra Dash and probably go out
Should be
early next
exciting.
week. I think that's all we got really kind of going on right now. But yeah, hopefully you guys are having a good new year, getting things off to a good start and getting started back to work. I know I'm just getting started back to work in a good work routine, kinda.
Boom.
Um, but yeah, all right, guys. See you. What's next week?
Next week,
I think I'm actually
maybe.
gonna be in Kuala Lumpur next week, but I should be able to do it. I think we'll be fine.
Chris is on Playboy mode this new year. Respect, dude. Just traveling, dating, eating good food.
True.
If you guys don't have him on social media, go ahead and add him.
Yeah, you can guys give me a follow on Facebook if you want. Just go find me on Facebook, Chris Gigis, and we can be internet friends.